Hello and welcome to another edition of Momentum. I'm your host, John Mercado. Our guest today is Derius Galvez, aerospace graduate student at Bagley College of Engineering. Derius, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to be here.
Let's start our discussion with a recent national honor you received. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I received the Lifetime Member of the Year award called the Mike Shin Award from NSBE's National Society of Black Engineers. And the organization started around like 1975 with the idea to increase the number of culturally responsible African-American engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. So I'm really honored to be recognized as a member who tries to achieve that daily and weekly, as much as I can, really.
And so you're obviously really involved with the NSBE chapter here at MSU. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement locally?
Absolutely. So I think it started probably in like 2011. I did a lot of stuff with the Boys and Girls Club. We built Lego robots, and one of the most interesting and kind of passionate things I get is when I see a kid actually get something. When he or she starts building that robot, it's like, oh man, this is mind blowing. And so from then, I took that momentum and went and worked with other students in the K through 12 areas. I also helped with the I Am Girl program here on campus, which caters to middle school girls to get them into engineering. And actually last year was the first year I remember a girl who started that program ended up coming into engineering. So it's cool to see a sixth grader say, hey, I remember you, and they're a freshman in engineering. And so it was always nice to see that. So I continued to push that. I also worked with the collegiate chapter here on campus to get students in conference, get students to present research and stuff like that, to try to get them more involved, to let them know that their strengths may lie something else outside of the work industry.
And I understand you were a finalist recently in something called the 3-minute thesis competition. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So it was a little nerve-wracking. He said, yeah, can you tell your entire thesis in 3 minutes? And I was like, this is some kind of business proposal. So what it is, you take literally what it is, self-explanatory. You take your entire thesis and you have to present it in a way that it's only 3 minutes or less. And so it's kind of a challenge, but I was able to articulate my thesis topic. So I do a little bit of bio-inspired design, or biomimicry as some people may call it. And it's taking a UAV and trying to completely mimic it, trying to completely biomimic an owl onto the UAV. And so my goal is to create a small aircraft that can fly quietly like an owl, that can fly slowly and still maintain its lift, and fly stealthily so it can be used in different type of applications. So we'll talk about that in 3 minutes.
Okay, all right. And lastly here, you've also been involved with an organization at Bagley College called Image. Why don't you tell us about that program and what you've done with that?
So Image is increasing minority access to graduate education, and in 2013, I was the president of Image, and I also helped students focus on research. And so I started doing undergraduate research around that time, working with sports engineering. I was trying to figure out how to make a concussion-proof helmet. You know, that was very hard, but I didn't get it. But with that, I was able to get more students involved in undergraduate research. And so I tried to couple that along with NSBE as well to give more students kind of the full bang of their buck of what they should expect in college. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And there's another program sort of related with Image, which is Summer Bridge, and I believe you've had some involvement with that.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so my biggest reason I came to Mississippi State was because of the Summer Bridge program. It's a 5-week program. At this time, it was sponsored by Chevron, and it's for underrepresented students, so African Americans, Hispanic Americans, women in general, because those numbers are underrepresented in engineering. And it teaches you about mathematics, science, and you have some type of engineering project. So when I completed that program, I went on to become a counselor for the next 6 years, and then I became a graduate assistant for the last year. So it was, most students who come through Summer Bridge usually succeed in graduating engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that Summer Bridge was one of the main reasons that got you to come here, to kind of get back to basics a little bit with that. What drew you to engineering in the first place?
I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. So I was in kindergarten, sir, and I was in Camp Pendleton, Oceanside, California, Camp Pendleton. I was walking to the bathroom, feeling like a young boy, just smart, just enjoying life, and I got viciously attacked by a bumblebee. Stung me right there above my eye, and it was terrifying. And at that moment, I was terrified of bees, and I had to figure out a way to get rid of bees from this earth because they're not about to attack me or anybody else I knew forever, ever again. So as I got stronger with reading and just understanding things, I think it was maybe about 3rd or 4th grade, I found this science book about nature, and it had bees on the front of it. So I'm flipping through the book, And I'm like, there has to be some weakness, something that can just end all the torment people suffer every day. And so in there, this is around like 1996, and in there it said, bees are scientifically unable to fly. And that hurt because I'm like, I'm scientifically unable to fly. So from there I started, well, what else can not fly but is still able to fly? And I started looking at butterflies and dragonflies and eventually certain birds. And then I started looking at aircraft, and that's kind of how I got into engineering. So I still don't like bees, but you know, they did put me on a good career path. So I got to thank them for something. Yeah.
And obviously, being a graduate student, you're involved in research. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about your research. What are you working on?
So the thesis that I did for the 3-minute thesis is one I'm specifically working on. And I guess the biggest gist of it is making sure I can successfully create this UAV. So I started off by looking at different species of owls, and the biological science department, they have a wide variety of birds they could look at. So I looked at different type of bird wings and owl wings to try to map which wings will benefit the UAV that I'm going to try to create. And also, that's, I guess, the foundation of that. So currently, I have a wing created, but I just need to lay it out, camber it, kind of shave it down a little bit so it can contour to the actual owl shape. So the next thing will be do flight testing, and hopefully have that done by March. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
All right.
We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Great.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes. But more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see. What drives you? What pushes you forward? Is it an appetite to be the best, or a calling to make a difference? For those of us here at Mississippi State University, it's both. We're designing a future where cutting-edge hybrid technology isn't imported from overseas, but exported from our own backyard. We're working toward a day when solutions to energy independence move at 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and are as simple as charging a phone. A day when fuel economy and environmentally friendly are viewed as less of a compromise and look more like this. For us, turning heads in the auto industry is great, but living up to the hype is even better. That's because it's about more than simply envisioning the future. It's about getting there. And here at Mississippi State, we know just the ride to take.
So Derius, we're back, and let's continue our discussion about research. Believe you got into part of your other research interest was sports engineering. So tell us a little bit about that.
So it started with a football player named Junior Seau. So I'm a Chargers fan, diehard Chargers fan. And I think in 2012, Junior Seau had committed suicide and shot himself in the chest. And when scientists went to figure out what happened, they looked at his brain, and he had CTE and I think another very awful brain disease that contributed to probably suicidal thoughts and just a lot of brain trauma, just a lot of headaches. But he never suffered a concussion medically. Like, he was never diagnosed for a concussion. So I started getting into research with that. The concussion issue with helmets is extremely complex. I ended up talking to researchers, Dr. Horsemeyer and Dr. Williams, Dr. Lakeisha Williams, and Dr. Mark Horsemeyer. They gave me a lot of insight onto how that problem is being worked on. And they're doing some really good research with that. And so continuing forward, I try to break it a little bit simpler. Well, there has to be a way to teach kids or teach players to get into a proper technique so they don't tackle with their head down or learn how to spear tackle another child. And so the research I did, I created a device that can self-teach a child or self-teach any football player to get into a proper football technique. And I used flight equations and just like transformation equations to relate one person's body to the center of their body to their waist, and then it's back to the ground so they can get into a very nice football tackling position in real time. So continue trying to work on that to perfect that device, make it a little bit better.
So this would be an actual device that
Absolutely.
could potentially be manufactured and sold, and
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully,
and maybe a patent. I guess.
Yeah, definitely trying to get that. I have some interest in that. Some patent lawyers they're talking to me about that, and so hopefully all that can get worked out and get going. So hopefully in the next few months we'll see. We'll see how that works out.
So what's next for you? I guess what does the immediate future hold?
Well, I accepted a job offer from Northrop Grumman and out in Palmdale, California. And so when I graduate this spring, I'll head out there. I think I start July 7th, and then I'll start my future as a quality engineer working with top secret stuff. But definitely I want to go get my PhD. I'm still trying to decide what I want to get my PhD in. I have a colleague of mine who suggests I get my PhD in film and production because I have some ideas of trying to have, what if you had like a newer type of Bill Nye type, Science Sky type TV show where you got a younger engineer teaching more kids about engineering itself. But then I want to do aerospace, I want to do sports engineering, I want to do a lot. So I'm just trying to pinpoint what exactly my PhD would be, but I know I'll definitely end up getting a doctorate one day.
Okay. And you graduate soon then?
Yeah,
I
yes,
guess.
absolutely. May 6th, 9th, whenever the actual date is. I probably need to look into that because I have to start doing all the little deadlines and applying for stuff, and I know that'll creep up on me pretty quickly if I don't do that. So hopefully all that can get situated fairly soon.
So that's coming up soon. Lastly, free time, as if you have any.
I know,
based on
right?
everything you talked about, but in any free time, what do you do?
I used to play piano a lot. I used to play piano quite heavily my freshman and sophomore year. But I stopped a little bit and I started playing football again. I played football in high school and I really wanted to walk on the team here, but aerospace engineering and football really wasn't going to work out. So I play football and I play tennis sometimes as well, especially I'll challenge some students and I lose a lot because they just, man, it's bad. But other than that, and also play video games sometimes. I play Madden, always going back to football and just try to enjoy that. And every blue moon when I get a good chance, I try to read a good book. Like one of my favorite books is Outliers by a guy named Malcolm Gladwell. Definitely recommend the book.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to catch up on more readings and more reading those type of literature, reading that type of literature.
Well, Derius, this has been great. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. Congratulations on graduation.
Thank you.
Best of luck with everything the future holds. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
That's our show for today. Remember, you can follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MSU Engineering. Thanks for being with us.